What's up, High and Logical? Gabe Baker back again. For people that don't know me, yeah, that's my name. Don't wear it out. uh, God, I just gotta start off by just saying, what a crazy year. I'm sure a lot of people have probably been experiencing the same exact thing, but damn, god damn, it's been super nuts. I've just been going, above and beyond when it comes to how I'm feeling mentally, physically, trying to make sure that I change myself because I'm so ready for next year. Ugh. Like, I feel so good about this. Even just like, it's only been 50 seconds into the video, 40, and I'm just like already feeling really good about this just because I'm just ready to take, some huge steps, some huge leaps, because that's what it's all about. You get better every January, right? And just like the things that I've realized in the past, 6 months alone, it just especially when it comes to like how I've been thinking, how I've been communicating, how I've been talking, it's just been nuts. I've been improving so much lately that it's just been mind blowing. Mind blowing. I had a realization in the shower earlier today that I'm still baffled to it to this day, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm just really excited, and I hope everybody else is too. It's all about just making sure that you get better. I know I'm really proud for myself. I'm really proud for everybody else, even though I don't even know what could be going on or anything like that. But that's fine because I believe in you guys as much as I believe in myself, and that's the energy that everybody I feel needs because not a lot of people really have that to really look towards or have somebody to kind of be like, wow, I relate to that. I like this guy's energy. Like, he keeps me up and motivated. Like, that's what I just like to bring. That's the entire reason why I do this. I love doing this. It's not about what I'm trying to possibly get out of this in the end because I see a lot of stuff that I could really get out of this. A lot of stuff. This stuff has been helping me so much, being able to just vent, being able to just be me. Because this is me. This channel is me. And I'm just really proud for how much from when I started to where I am now. And that's how you should be able to look at your progress too, from however long you've been trying to heal from something, trying to let go of certain things that just don't serve you anymore, specifically emotions, because we're all caught up in our head sometimes. I talk about it all the time. We all know this. But it's just crazy to think about of how much self-improvement can actually really help. And I hope that everybody's been taking also the introspection to do that because wintertime is really about that introspection and making sure that we are grounded and ready for anything that is really thrown at us. It's hard. It's hard to let go of certain things, especially when they've had such a big impact on your life or they've been around in your life for so long of just being able to have to feel like it's always there. I got to make sure that I just contain it. No, if you have a chance to be able to let go of things that don't serve you anymore when it comes to negative thinking, bad habits, overthinking, that's me right there, anxiety, there's so many different things that you can let go of, and it's like it takes time. Don't feel like you need to rush yourself. Don't feel like you need to just like hit it down with a bat and hope to God that it breaks down. That not a building is not going to come down with a whole bat. You're going to have to make sure that you build that strong foundation from the bottom up. If it requires you to have to break the walls down and just do it again, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because self-improvement is necessary. So before I continue on anything else, I just want to call you guys out a little bit. Just a little bit. It's nothing too bad. But I am ready to kind of take some next steps into next year when it comes to my videos. So please, I'm asking. I'm not begging. I'm asking. Submit some ideas. Tell me what you'd like to talk about. If you want to come join me, come join me. Even if it is just a little comment about what you would like to hear, what you'd like to talk about, I'm willing to talk about anything at this point. It's not that I'm bored with this, but I feel like I'm ready to be able to kind of take on to some new things. I'm always willing to learn about new stuff. I'm willing to put the research in and willing enough to, make other people's ideas flourish just because that, I like to be able to work off of other people's ideas too. It's all about, team building. I'm always into that. And so, I'm looking for you. I'm looking. Just know I'm looking and I see some really good stuff out there and I don't even know who the heck I'm talking to and I see some good ideas. So do not be afraid. Do not let fear get in the way of stuff. If you want to hear it, if you want to hear me talk about it, I will do it. I'm not going to take everything into consideration. I don't take that negativity stuff, People should already know this about me, but yeah, I don't take that negativity stuff. I don't want any of that stuff that's just gonna cause a big ruckus just because that people are gonna complain about it. No, if it's legit, I'm gonna take it. If it's not, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna take it into discernment, but if it doesn't resonate with me, I'm not gonna take that stuff. No, not doing that. Okay, but some of the continuing on for what I was talking about was the things that I've realized are just crazy. I've always been talking about the key, right? I'm pretty sure I talked about this once before, but the key, the key that opens the new doors, new opportunities, these just new things, there isn't one specific thing that makes the key, right? The key to when it comes to just how you perceive things and how you perceive them, even just for yourself, is multiple different things. And it could vary from person to person, but there's a lot of things that most people do consider to be part of key. When people say that communication is key, it's part of the key. It's not the whole key, it's part of the key. If I had to describe it for myself about what the key might entail, love, compassion, comprehension, communication, it is part of the key. Do not let fear get into thinking that you can't do things. That is also part of the key. Do not let fear control the wheel, because you control the wheel, not your fear. Let's see, what else is there? There's a lot of different stuff. I could probably keep going on and on about it, but yeah, the perspective about what you see as the key is what you define it as yourself. And what I've defined as myself is a lot of different things, and mostly of the things that I've talked about is pretty much that, because I'm not really trying to get in that energy anymore of where I just feel like I need to be a people pleaser all the time, or thinking that I need to have control over things, because I'm kind of a control freak. I always kind of think that when things aren't going my way, I need to fix it. That's it. But that's just me. That I've had to work past that. I've healed from a lot of past trauma, and like a lot of these, good introspection things that I've really needed for myself, because of thinking that I don't have it. I fucked up. Everybody fucks up. Everybody's not perfect, and that's okay. You can't judge somebody else for doing something when that's their problem, not your problem, And, and it requires some people, not everybody's going to be comprehending and understanding with you to understand everything that you have gone through or anything like that, but you'd be surprised at what people would actually be willing to put to the table if they know that you are in their energy source. If you're in their inner circle, there's, there is the point of where having to know about who's going to give you, like, give and give back. You see that there's you can't overthink things, that especially when it comes to that too, like especially when you're like, oh, this and this, when most of the time it's just because that you were putting all that stress on yourself, not that other person. There's a lot of different things that could just really go on for that, but I'm not really going to try to work into where it's just one thing, because I'm trying to get into a whole rainbow of just a bunch of different things. And really be proud of yourself if you really have been going through a lot, or having to realize that you've made it, to where you are right now. You have made it. You have made it that far. There's nothing that can stop you. Nothing. The only person that's going to stop you is you. I say that all the time, because that is something that I really try to embed in people's heads, is because that people need to hear that. People need to know that if you are the one that you are going to notice that you are probably the one that's putting yourself down the most, or thinking that you don't deserve things, or thinking that that's not going your way because you think that. You can't give up on something just because that, some bad situations happens. If it happens a lot, it's probably because you haven't learned a little specific lesson that you needed to learn in that. And that's just a life lesson. People learn life at their own way. There's not a defined definition of what life actually means. Like I said last time, it doesn't always mean 42. It doesn't always mean that, comprehending is the answer, that, not everybody's going to understand, not everybody's going to feel the same way that you do. But if you show the dedication, if you really show the true you, and there's nothing wrong with being able to show the true you, because people are going to love you regardless. Some people don't always see eye to eye about everything. But if you can't have a good disagreement with people and also be able to still be okay after that, then there's definitely a red flag that you need to notice, or need to notice about the situation, a person, a lot of different things. You notice the red flags, you got to feel that stuff in your gut. Your intuition, your first guess, you will know. You will know. There's nothing that's really going to define it better than you. You will know if you feel uncomfortable about a specific thing, and I mean really uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, because people are really stuck in their comfort zones right now, and people really do need to break out of these things. If you are, going above and beyond and to the point to where you're not really like kind of coming back to yourself about it and be like, oh, I definitely should not have done that. You change that. Just because that you know that your ego is out of there doesn't mean that you still can't have your ego. You silence your ego to find the balance. The scales. I talked about this before once too, is that there is a specific balance that people need to find in themselves when it comes to making sure that they can have balance between both. Just because people have an ego doesn't mean that ego is bad, but there is too much at the point to where the ego is going to overpower, and you're not going to be able to find that balance because you're not finding everything and having to look at it from all perspectives, which is okay. You don't have to see it from every perspective. I am a person that loves small details just because it gives me the gratification thinking that I can, analyze everything, I can fix everything. Like I said, I'm a kind of a control freak when it comes to that. But I've realized that, sometimes you're too busy looking at the small details to really realize the big picture. And that was my realization that I had in the shower earlier, was not the big picture, but the bigger picture, of where it's like, I referenced it to myself like a painting or a drawing, so to speak, where you're trying to make sure that you can, build the foundation of how the drawing or the painting's going to look. But if you spend too much time looking at one part of it and realizing that you just need to I need to erase it, I need to paint over it and restart again, you're not going to be able to find that whole foundation between everything else that is all in between just the one thing. And I don't really know if that really makes sense, but it'll make sense if you can kind of fit it in yourself. But the drawing, for example, is that you have to trace the whole thing, right? You have to draw the whole part of it before you can just start going super deep on the details of one thing. And that can vary from a lot of different things from person to person. There's not really too many things that you can really try to define that, but what that is for that definition for yourself. And it's just really, it mind boggled me earlier. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, Gabe, I'm such a dumbass. But you don't need to be too hard on yourself. I definitely was not too hard on myself. It really kind of gave me a really good pipe up to where I'm like, wow, I can really look at things at such a different perspective now, that I'm just mind blown about the way that I'm going to be looking at things now. When I'm too busy worrying about one thing, when I know that the one thing is also going to affect all my other things, that I can't do that. There's no way that I can do that. I can't let that affect me. I can't let the fear of the one thing not going the right way right now affect how I want to make sure that everything's going to look in the long run. And I feel like that will give people a really good perspective about how they view their dreams, or how they want to build their future, or make sure that they can move on, improve. It's always about improvement. It's always making sure that you can look at the bigger picture, instead of just looking at the tiny detail of something, that the tiny part of the drawing that you haven't even looked at the rest of the drawing that you want to integrate into it. That makes sense to me. If it makes sense to you, it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Life is what you understand it to be. Life is what you perceive it to be. You will know of what you want to define it as because of you. Nobody else is going to define it for you but what you define it as. And that's just the best thing. I'm just really grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for a lot of things, that I'm just ready. Next year is just going to be awesome. I'm just so excited for next year. I hope other people are really excited for next year, because, you always get better every January, and then, a new year's a new phase. There's always new stuff. You can't always think that the past is going to hold you back, because things are not going to be the same. You have to embrace change, not fight change. I made a TikTok about this earlier, to where change is like Thanos from Marvel. It's this because, one, it's inevitable. Two, it's going to bring balance to you, whether it starts bad or good. And so, you'll always find something to where it's going to bring balance, because there's always a lot of different aspects that are going to be drawn into it that you can really reference to what it could mean for you, and you will find that. I have faith in you. I have faith in a lot of things. I know, even another big realization that I've realized was knowing what has truly hurt you, and what you were too busy thinking about what was hurting you, when it really wasn't hurting you, when you were hurting yourself. And that was also a big thing that I really had to realize for myself, that I was making things a lot harder for myself than it actually really needed to be. And, people really go at their own pace when it comes to that too, and that resonates for specific messages or specific things or specific situations. Like I say all the time, people go through the same things, but they're just defined by the different things that are happening or going on. Like when it comes to, there's a specific example. I completely forgot. It doesn't matter anyway. But you guys should understand of what I'm talking about. I talk really differently than a lot of people really understand, but that's just because that I really like to speak my mind. That's the one reason why I like doing this, is because that I get to speak my truth of how I want to speak it. And that's just the same way that you should do it for how you believe in the things that you want to believe. And that's the positive things, not the negative things, because that negative stuff, no, nobody needs that. I don't need that. You don't need that. Your family doesn't need that. Like there is such thing as where even your family is not always like something that you really need to hold on to. But if, your family is your family, you can't pick that. You pick your friends. You don't pick your family. You love your family for who they are. That's how it goes, But yeah, what a crazy year. It's just going to get better, and you got to make sure that you keep in that positive mindset that it's going to get better, because it will get better. You can't tell yourself that it's not going to, otherwise it's not going to. You're not going to be willing enough to make sure that you can look at yourself and be like, yeah, I need to change this. I need to change that, because you will know if you want to do it. You also make sure to have to give yourself time. Take the perspectives of your key, not other people's key. And just because that I define my key as so many different things doesn't mean that you have to define it the same way. That's all it is. You understand from your own perspective. You understand people for what they are, who they are, and there's nothing that you can really do except just make sure that you support yourself. Support people who are actually giving you the good support that you need. Don't overthink things. I'm going to do my best, and I mean truly do my best to not really overthink things anymore. I have a lot of less anxiety now. It's just been really good, and I feel really relieved. I feel really calm. I just feel so good, and I hope that you guys do too, because I'm really grateful for a lot of you people and for who do watch this. And even if I don't know you, I'm grateful for you regardless, because you give me a chance to show something that I can put out into the world, and that's good enough. It is. A like can go a long way. Even a comment of criticism can go a long way. Criticism can. I take criticism actually pretty well. If I get really upset about it, that's my problem. That's not your problem. It's just people express themselves for how they want to express themselves, and you can't stop that. But hope you guys have a great next year. I'll see you guys next year. Dad joke. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And like I said, just live your damn life, dude. Live your damn life to the freaking fucking fullest.